what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Erskmac, the mad scientist.
And Vivo.
This is the Orange Phoenix Show anime breakdown live, and for a special time of 8 p.m. Eastern time. And Vivo, how was your weekend?
Uh, um, Saturday went okay. I had my naps and so
Uh
I
huh.
like deadlift and squat maxes. That was an ordeal. And then I just laid in the bed all of Sunday and watched anime.
All of Sunday.
Oh,
All of Sunday. Yeah, Sunday was a little bit of a blur. I'm not even gonna lie. Now, yesterday, um, it was definitely a blur up until last night, and I was watching the pay per view, and I'm a huge wrestling fan, as you know. The Geek Corner already knows, and part of the Geek Corner are wrestling fans as well. But I will be talking about pro wrestling tomorrow at 8 p.m. Not 8 p.m. I'm sorry, 7 p.m. Eastern time for Pro Wrestling Talk Live. That whole entire show tomorrow will be dedicated to Sting, because Sting's last match was last night at AEW's Revolution. So we're definitely gonna be talking about that today. Sucked a little bit because I had to do grown up things. Trying to be a responsible citizen, if you will, and spending a lot of money. Like, first of all, like, woke up early this morning because in my mind I want to play Helldivers. I want to play Helldivers. I want to get that in. But before I go through that, let me handle this adult stuff. So get my car serviced. I'm like, oh well, you need a tune up, and you need, not one, not two, but four tires, and these are run flat tires. Run flat tires are expensive as piss. So I'm like, well, give me two sets. Give me a set of two, and I can do the rest of it later. By the way, I'm gonna do a tune up. Give me a tune up, my oil change, and all that stuff. New Spark Plus, blah 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 blah. $1,700. So,
run flats are a scam.
so what?
The run flats are a scam.
It wasn't a scam. It was like literally.
Listen. I used to have run flats on my old car,
Yeah.
and the two or three times that I had a tire blowout, I still had to have my car towed.
What? How?
Exactly.
Why? That's ridiculous. Like, it's no way you should get towed from a run flat. It's
Still,
supposed to like
yeah,
run.
they still, because of where like the one, I will say the one time that it did blow out, I was actually on my way to the dealer. So it was the tire just completely blew out on my way to the dealership, and literally I was down the street, so I was able to at least get to the dealership. But then the other time the car, like the tire blew out, was on the side, on the highway, on the, like, just on the side of the road. Could not drive it anywhere because in either direction it was like 50 miles to get to someplace.
Yeah.
So still had to have it towed. And then the other time I'm really I'm really rough on sports cars on
Yeah.
Michigan roads. Um
Yeah. No
so
mix.
yeah, and so but what yeah, the other two times still had to the car still had to be towed. And so I was like, why am I paying 250 a tire for these tires, and they're not even really serving their purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need
Like,
them to. So I just got I switched over to Sumitomo Ultra High Performance All Season tires,
mm-hmm.
and they were better than the run flat Pirellis I had,
Dang.
like by
So,
leaps and bounds.
like, the run flats I have, like, I have Camaro, so I mean, no other tire, will look right on that car other than run flat tires. But anytime I ran over something like a nail or something like that, I never had to get it towed at all. Like, my pressure will drop, but it don't drop down to zero. But if I can pump it up or whatever, it gonna stay on the rim until I get there. So it acts as though it's a spare. So,
Yeah,
but
that's yeah.
but them bitches are expensive. So
Yeah.
so got that done. So like things. And for the people that don't understand, if you want your car repaired, there's a thing called like Sunbit. I'm not sure like it's everywhere, but Sunbit is where if you don't feel like paying a lump sum for that repair, you can actually put down a down payment and actually make payments on your repair, where you can just leave with your car and still make payments until you pay that repair off. You can still get your car serviced if anything else goes on. It's just that you can make payments. So if it's something like over 500, or if you got it and you just want to raise your credit, you can just say, hey, Sunbit, let me just make an automatic draft.
I don't know. I don't know if that's a thing here.
Yeah.
Because my oil changes are like $600.
Yeah. I'm thankful that that exists because I can actually pay that, right? But I don't want to because I'm gonna just make payments on it. And then if I feel like if I get annoyed by it, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just pay it off. It's whatever. But I think that's highly convenient for everyone that exists because the way these cars are set up, these newer cars, like car repairs are expensive. It's all get out. So I mean, especially when the warranty ends, it's expensive car repairs. If you want people to continue to get their car service, like this is a convenient way to actually do that. But that's the
I,
first part, right?
I lucked out with my car because my car was basically new, but it was a demo car. So when I bought it, there was only 2,000 miles on it. So
Yeah,
but because it was a demo car, they also got it certified
yeah,
or certified. So not only did I have the full benefit of the, you know, full manufacturer's new warranty, but I also had like an additional like 5 years of warranty after that because of its certification.
yeah,
And then another thing, like if if I know that that particular car brand offers a little higher protection package, I always buy it. Like
yeah,
with how Michigan roads are and the potholes, just because our winters are so rough, we have like their little craters. So I can't tell you how many times a pothole has taken me out. Like it looks like it's okay, but you did it just right. I had to replace my front dispenser twice on my old car because of potholes. So
man,
I was like, yeah, so I'm gonna buy that wheel tire protection, and if anything ever happens to one of my wheels, $50 deductible that would fix whatever's wrong with it. So
I'm with that. I'm with that. And as my car was getting serviced, right, I had to wait like a couple 3 hours, but the car dealership said, "Hey, we're gonna send you. We can drive you home and we'll call you whenever it's finished, and we'll send an Uber back to pick you up," which is cool because I got home, was preparing for the show, was checking out solo leveling and Ninja Kamui, catching up with everything, so I can get my notes together and all that. And in lieu of that, there's a tree that's leaning towards my house that I've been putting off forever in a day, and I got my coworker to come down, and we actually was able to cut that tree down for $150, which is very, very, very cheap. Because anytime that you want a tree cut down, that's a few $100s or maybe in the thousands. So, yeah, I was all for that. So, yeah, I spent some money today. Yeah, I spent some money today. Overrated. Now I did get some hell divers in. I did, fight for democracy just for at least 20 minutes.
Yeah,
but after the show, I'm being back.
My download bins, and yeah, that's still in progress. So we'll see what happens.
Okay. I mean, today was toxic behavior today. It was bad. It was bad. Speaking of toxic, we got some toxic anime fan base, right? Because last week, Solo Leveling did an episode 7.5, and we don't like recaps. Okay. Okay.
Like, how are you? You haven't even gotten 10 episodes in, and you already do a recap.
Yeah. So it was review bombed. Like people kind of like took what we said and like dial it up to 11. They were like, nah, we're gonna review bomb this shit. Like nah, we don't like this. But according to reports, that they was giving animators a break for like a week, so they can, work on some other projects or whatever. Because there are certain studios that have been overworking these animators. It's like, yo, keep pumping this stuff out to the point where, they can't call out, or it might be dealing with health issues or whatever the case may be, like seriously overworked. So I think with the animation studio that was dealing with Soul Leveling, they were looking to avoid that. And I was like, hey, you know what? Just take a week and we'll be back to do episode 8. But and it was, oh, go ahead.
With the response that they got after doing that, they might as well have just not done it. And they probably won't do that again either, based on this response. We're hoping they don't. I mean, that could just, if they opt to, like, based on what happened with this episode 7.5, if they opt not to do, another recap episode, and just, if their animators and employees need a break, just have a free week. Just have a free week. Because at the same time, too, they're not eating into the budget that they, use for future episodes. So, I mean, either way, to me, it really doesn't, personally, it doesn't matter, because I know that when I see something as a recap episode, I'm not going to watch it anyways, because I already know what's happening. And I think I said last week that, recap episodes may be helpful for people who are, don't have the wherewithal to start at the very, very beginning and get caught up. So they can jump in right at the recap. But, based on the response to this last one, it should probably think of something.
Man, listen. Like, for me, I don't really want to go to the extreme of, like, I'm gonna review bomb this, because like manga writers, like, from back in the day, like, they had it rough. Like, I mean, tough. I mean, you had to be very passionate about what you're doing to go through the rigors of meeting deadlines and making sure a chapter comes out, and making sure that your chapter don't get canceled, your manga as a whole don't get canceled. And on top of all that, you're not getting paid that much. So, and the money that you're getting paid for, you might have to split that up to your pencilers, to your inkers, to everybody else that's helping you out in your studio. Like, lack of sleep. Like, prime example, Tagashi. Like, Tagashi, that the same guy that created Hunter x Hunter and Yu Yu Hakusho, this the sole reason why Hunter x Hunter is not finished now. This man has back issues, like literally writing pages laying flat on his back, like upright, like just drawing and asking for help. But it kind of, I just my guess that with manga creators and writers, that the conditions is not as bad as it was before. And we was hearing rumors about, different studios like working these animators like to the bone. And I think with this studio, they was trying to alleviate that issue. And it's like, yeah, we're gonna give a break. Hopefully they don't listen to the fan base. And, continue to, give a break. Now, if it was up to me, what I would have done is said, hey, okay, you guys concentrate on this season of animation, get all this animation done. Once it's done, go take a break. Or versus doing it bi-weekly. But I'm not sure how how the system works, when it comes to that. But if I had the reins, hey, 12 episodes, take a break. You know what I mean? And then 12 episodes, take another break. That kind of thing. But hey, only time will tell. But hopefully that fan base don't affect their way of thinking. Because, when it comes to comic books, anime, sci-fi, especially Star Wars, like, it is toxic. Like,
I just completely steer clear of that.
What, Star Wars?
The tax, like, because let one minute detail, like the button on that jacket was 0.2 inch too close to the left. Like, they're serious. They're serious.
Very, very. Like, you're gonna get flamed. Like, now, you sound kind of away a little bit.
Do I? Can you hear me
Yeah, yeah,
better?
maybe like an echo, maybe. I think that's what it is.
Um,
That look on your faces.
wait. Well, I don't want to mess with any settings because then it might kick me and then that'll be it.
Uh-huh. I got you. So you're absolutely right about Star Wars because that fan base was so toxic when they did a new trilogy. Um,
Oh, yeah.
the young lady, her name escapes me right now, but
Is
she was.
it
Say it again.
is it Ridley? Daisy Ridley? Is that her name?
I
Are you talking
think so.
about?
She was Asian. Yeah, she's Asian. So
Oh, you're talking. Okay, I know who you're talking about. I know who you're
yeah,
talking about.
prominent role in the
Mm-hmm.
movie. And then the second movie, I mean, the next movie, she was hardly ever featured. Like that fan base was so toxic with her. She was like, "Man, I am done." And I was like, "Yo, Star Wars people, man, is crazy. Like some of them, like it just makes it hard for people that just to go into Star Wars because they're protected so much, they gatekeep so much, and some people in anime like that. Dragon Ball fans, yeah, a little toxic. Can't beat Goku. That's always a staple. But you can't beat Goku. I like listen. Goku ain't invincible. Sailor Moon can whoop Goku's ass.
Yep.
It just, I mean, but people look at Sailor Moon that don't watch Sailor Moon, thinking, she's trash. She is not. She is not. Now going on to solo leveling. Jinu accepts Jinho's offer, but at what cost? Now I'm gonna let you take that, Vivo. What's your thoughts on that?
So basically, I see what they did. Um. In that. Um. So when we talked about last week's, the week before episode, what was that? Episode 7. Just
Yeah,
episode 7. Yeah.
yeah,
Um. And I basically said, this is not how their original conversation went, and X, Y, and Z. I now see what they're doing in that they spread it out. They just broke it up and put some stuff in between.
okay,
So in that initial conversation in the webtoon, like Gina Gina was like, yeah, I'm on board. I'm going to help you. But here, there was like a breakaway. Stuff happened in between, and then I get well, there were some changes now that they had added in the need for the elixir of life or him going for that, and so that gave him incentive then to go back and accept Gino's offer.
yeah.
So I see what I see what they're doing now is because they're making those subtle changes and they're just making the story like they're just making additional subtle changes to make sure everything flows together and it makes sense. So essentially we're back on track with what's happening in the webtoon for the most part. So they
So
just
basically, you saying that they're opening up more dialogue versus how we because honestly, like even if we read manga or webtoons, it's it's pretty cut and dry for the most part.
mhm,
But with anime, sometimes that don't reflect what's going on in the manga, but sometimes they deviate like drastically. They take a hard
yeah.
left with it, and that's when it's bad. But if they like embellishing a little bit and they're like taking time to like flesh out some more story, I'm cool with that. And I'm thinking, like you're saying, that what's going on with solo leveling because things getting a little interesting here because it's like there's another layer here being peeled off because we learned that Gino's dad has ambitions. Like he wants to be part of have his own guild, like have his own designs because he explained to his son, all these people got money and they're using these resources for this, that, and the third. But I feel like it seems like his goals was a little noble, but I don't trust it 100%. But it seems like if the guild that he wants to build, the resources that they get from these dungeons, he wants to give it to the people or divvy it out to the people. Like, am I reading that wrong?
maybe I need to go back and rewatch that part, but I was the way I took it was that you have these main guilds who essentially are a monopoly over, they provide the service, and then in turn that service harvests all these rare materials, and they make a buttload of money, and they're very wealthy.
Yeah.
And I took it as him looking at them and being like, well, I want that too.
Yeah.
So I took it to be more greed ish.
Uh-huh.
So maybe I need to go back and rewatch that conversation that they were having.
Yeah. I don't know. It just, when I was listening to him, it's like, okay, you have goals too, but your goals seem different from everybody else's. Now, the other interesting thing is that the other guild masters, especially the one we saw in the first episode, he wants to go back to Jeju Island. So this is the first like we heard of Jeju Island, and it makes me think, is this the same island that was at the first episode, or just like something different? So I was very curious on what he was speaking of when it came down to Jeju Island.
So in the webtoon, when so in the webtoon, when Jinu and Gino were first in that situation where they were about to be killed, actually it was the episode where he was talking. It was that proverb or like whatever about the snakes or the lizard will always drop its tail to get away.
Yeah,
something like that. So in that part of the webtoon where they talk about that, they actually talk about Jeju Island.
Yeah,
that was the island where they said like an S-class gate opened up and basically nobody was able to clear it, so there was a dungeon break, and essentially now it's a wasteland because nobody has been able to clear it.
Okay.
So I don't think that they didn't mention that in the actual anime, but it has already been mentioned in the webtoon earlier on. But it wasn't. It was more of like an example, but they didn't really go into super detailed explanation.
Yeah. Okay. And so then now that actually sets the premise for Jinu. I'm guessing that Jinu will be the one that goes to Jeju Island and clears that Joker. Probably. Maybe that's where the other gate is for the final part of the elixir of life. So maybe that's what it is too. But it seems like with the guild masters, like they want to, especially the one that his name escapes me at the moment, but he wants to clear that island. Like that's something that's there, and he's trying to train other hunters, and he's trying to get recruit other hunters, and get them up to the strength level of we're gonna all go to Jeju Island and we're gonna clear it, and we're gonna be heroes.
That's the White Tiger guild leader, right?
I think so, because they showed the crest of it, but I couldn't really make out what it was at that point in time. But the other thing though is Shaheen. Like she was approached by Jinhu's father, or at least a part of that association, to join to strengthen their fledgling guild. But she snitched. She was like, "Listen, I got approached, and I'm not gonna join the guild. I'm gonna stay with you." But I'm interested in Shaheen though as the S rank hunter. Like I want to see her in action and see what she's able to do, because so far we just know that she's famous and she know how to do her thing. But only thing we seen her do was just run around on track field.
Wait, no, hold up. That was no, that wasn't so he called Spike. Spike is the one with the orange, the brown hair. And he was the one that was irritated that he had to do the interview.
Oh yeah, Bak Yoon-hoo?
Yeah. So he's the guild leader of White Tiger, and I believe the guild master for the Hunter Guild, that's where he showed up to. Yeah. So he was at the Hunter Guild headquarters.
Mm.
And that guild master's name is Choi Jong-ki.
Yeah, Choi. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And look, Choi look like he can do some damage though. Like he seems like he's a calculating dude. And he has things in line. He kind of gives off Eisen vibes in a way. But not
Oh, I
not
hope. I hope.
I mean, if he's an Eisen character, I'm cool with it. But he does give off those vibes a little bit. And hopefully we get to see these guys in action because we only saw like glimpses.
Yeah.
In the first episode. The other interesting thing is Junhei, she's still dealing with PTSD, and her mom wanted her, hey, you know what? You don't have to fight. You can come join us and work with us, and that made her snap. She was like, listen, I got this, XYZ, and she got herself together to volunteer for another dungeon with the same people like you went through this trauma with.
I was like, oh no.
I was like, bro, like Gino was cool as a cucumber because he's already ranked up and everything, but you see the other two guys, the one that betrayed a guild leader at the point in time, is like, oh, this is awkward.
Kim and was it?
I think it was Kim.
It was Kim was the older one, and then
Kim and Park.
The bigger one.
Yeah, Kim and Park.
Yeah.
And so like with Kim and Park, they're like, oh, this is awkward. Yeah, it's awkward, man. You left me out here for dead. That's what you did. But and then on top of that, you compound that with the prisoners that's coming out. That's another wrinkle there. Did you read ahead of that? Did you see that?
Yeah, I'm ahead of that. I already know what happened.
Okay.
Gonna be awesome. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I feel like death is coming. That's all I know.
Mind you, the proctor. How do you say his name? Is it start with a T or his name?
Oh, talking about the escort?
Yes.
The B rank guy, the one that actually measured
yes.
Jinu's strength. Yeah.
I didn't notice that he was one of the guys that originally went to see Gino after the events of the Karkian Temple, and he was there when they remeasured him.
Yeah, that's why he looked at him so suspicious. He was like, he just stared at him. He's like,
yeah.
Right. So he really gonna see what Gino was capable of doing, because I don't think he's gonna let Junhei suffer again. And it's a D rank mention. I mean, what are the odds of you going into a double dungeon again? Unless that's going to be a common thing later on in the series. But I saw something today, and it caused quite a stir.
Right.
And they said, someone posted, Shangri-La Frontier is better than Solo Leveling. Don't beat me up. That was a status. And some people in the comments was like, I'm not really mad at it.
Okay, so I can't actually comment on that yet because I haven't started Shangri-La yet. So yeah. I will have a report back next Monday, and I will give my thoughts on that.
Yeah. Because somebody was like, can we have this stricken from the record? Because Solo Leveling is eight episodes in. Shangri-La Frontier is more
like
than 8 for sure.
Episodes right now, right? Or the 2 seasons though. It's like 23 episodes.
Yeah, so the first season didn't finish yet, but it's more episodes in Shangri-La Frontier than Solo Leveling. So it's kind of hard to make that assessment. But Shangri-La Frontier is definitely top tier for sure though. Like, it's just a lot of other anime that's out there. It's, with marketing and all the other stuff. And maybe that's kind of like overshadowing Shangri-La Frontier, but Shangri-La Frontier is top tier stuff for sure. People in anime groups, black anime groups, blurred circles, is swearing by Shangri-La Frontier, saying it needs to be seen. So,
Okay.
it's out there. Solo Leveling got some competition. Solo Leveling, I would say, is ahead because of the popularity that it has,
Mhm.
especially in the webtoon, because that thing kicked off crazy. And
It,
then, um, and also in other competition, which is our next thing that we're gonna actually go through, is Ninja Kamui and Joe Higan gets mysterious help. Now, Vivo, what did you thought about this episode of Ninja Kamui?
I thought it was good.
Uh huh.
It was it was definitely a little. It was slower than what the last couple of episodes before, but that's fine. Because I felt like it gave even more. Um, it dropped a little even more information, gave us tidbits, more context, all that good stuff. Still
Yeah.
don't know that little short guy's name who clearly
The weird
is
one?
a power top. I don't know, but it was very funny when Yamagi got sick of him to the point that he just force choked him across the table. Like everybody was like, "Thank you," because he was out of pocket that entire conversation. Like there was no. Why isn't he in prison? Like he was just saying like some out of pocket stuff. And I'm sitting here watching this episode, right? And I didn't realize, like, normally I watch my anime sub. I
Yes.
didn't realize that I was watching the dubbed version until I actually consciously was like, oh, you're not actually reading subtitles, you're speaking English. And the dub
Mm-hmm.
is actually pretty good. But,
Yeah.
like, I'm so glad I had my headphones on when I was watching that, because if somebody would have heard the things that were coming out of his mouth as they were walking by,
Listen, I mean, they got to kill that man immediately. Like, he got to go. He got to go. He's making it like a public watch unbearable, because anytime he's on screen, he gonna say some out of pocket shit. Like, it's just it's like
like, somebody
guaranteed.
walk into the room when he's talking and then be like, what is this that you're watching?
It's one of
And
those
then
situations.
the one black character that looks like Braid with a high top fade, like a higher top.
Yes, he like, listen, he is not messing up my fade. I heard him say that. I was like, oh,
I was
okay.
like, you guys have to make him like, is he Shaft? Like, what is happening?
All I know is I need to see this mofo's abilities,
I,
because
I'm invested. And he had the chains too. Like,
I was like, bro, who did you research to get this? All right, because I mean, high top fade was on point. Now let me just say that high top fade was on point. That was a fresh cut he got. All right, he just said, listen, that's don't mess up my fade. That's what he said at the table, and that's all he was concerned about was the
and
fade.
old boy's assistant, I think that she's also a ninja too. And she's
Oh,
part of that organization. And
oh,
she's,
the Konoichi.
yeah, her.
Yeah.
Um, and then I'm not a fan. I don't like the Mark Zuckerberg character. Like, whatever his name is. I don't like him.
Oh, Alza.
Especially
Oh
when
yeah,
Yamagi
the head
was
Alza.
like, yeah, and Yamagi said something to him, and he was like, "You're not the boss of me." And I was looking at him like, "Are you like 4?"
Listen, when he said that, I thought he was going to get his head locked off immediately, but I don't know. Maybe he said, "Listen, he said it straight out. I'm not a fighter." And because they asked him, "What you gonna do when Higan shows up?" Like, first of all, I'm not a fighter. I'm here to collect this data so we can do what we need to do. That is y'all job. like, y'all failed, for that.
So out of place with that group. Well, no, I shouldn't say. Well, it's like he seems out of place, but then he doesn't, because I feel like his level of crazy is above what all of them combined are.
Yeah,
We're just not seeing it yet.
yeah, yeah. But his assistant really wanted to kill the old boy, kill that short dude. She was like, "Listen, I can." I forgot what she said verbatim, He's like, no, you won't do that. And like, I'm sorry, you spoke out of turn.
And
And
then
she's
he was
like,
like, language.
you're like, sorry about that. And I'm like translation, I will fuck your life up. You keep talking. You keep
Yep.
talking. But he's just obsessed with it. He obsessed with Higan. So I'm hoping that he's the first one to catch that L. But the head of the Corps said, listen, like, another interesting thing I figured out with Mori, Zai, and Higan, once they graduated, everybody has their own secret techniques, but no one knows what the secret techniques is. Only you do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another interesting wrinkle, because you would think that if you telling your ninja this is your secret technique, don't tell anyone your secret technique. What's stopping them from using that secret technique against you or whatever? But also, that's a mind screw too, because you don't know what your opponent's secret technique is. So, I mean, that's psychological. That's actually diabolical, because you can't recklessly go up against a person without knowing their secret technique.
So we're about to see some secret techniques, I assume, in this next episode.
Yes. Yeah. So it's like, my secret technique is resurrection. Kill me, I'm gonna come back.
I didn't realize that other, because I didn't realize that the masked ninja, I didn't realize that was Zai.
Yes.
For some reason, I thought he had a different. Well, I guess they called him the Reaper.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
I really like his character design. It looks really cool. I really like it. But I thought that what this episode also, it was cool that this episode also showed the background of Higan and his Mari,
yeah.
Mori, showed the background of their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But then it also showed background on Mike Morris and the sacrifices that he made in order to be an FBI agent.
Yeah.
Essentially, he sacrificed his family, but so I thought that those were both interesting. It was good to get that background story for those characters.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Morris, that still haunts him. But he was an agent at the time. But that was okay. So his daughter, like, getting hit by the drunk driver or whatever. That wasn't his fault, right? I mean, I think his wife was looking for someone to blame at that point, and she's like, "Listen, this is your fault. I called you several times. Well, you ain't gonna answer the phone if you out here in the field. So that part, you know what I'm saying? And to see that and your wife leaving you at that particular scene, like, I'm surprised, like, he's in a worse state than what he's already in. But obviously it's haunting him because he's having dreams about it. And Higan scares the absolute crap out of him when he wakes up, because he's sitting there in the dark. He's like, dog, man, bro, like, chill. What you doing? You don't have to do that sneaky stuff on me.
He's like, please not 3 times before you cut in fire.
Yeah, I really do like Morris as a character, though. Now, when the council had their meeting, they did mention Morris and his partner, and they said they're not a threat. If they get too close, yeah, you say that's a non-threat. Don't add more to the body count. Your focus is on Higan. Like, go focus on that man. So I do like.
They're not gonna not watch them though, and Morris said as much. He was like, they're probably already under surveillance.
Yes, yeah, no doubt. Now with with that mysterious voice, the one that called Higan and said, "Hey, like, nobody's following this line, whatever." What if that's Zai, the one who called him to that particular point, because he was conveniently at that grid at that point in time before the show ended. He was like right there in front of him. I thought about that after the show ended. I'm like, what if Zai was the one who called him on the phone and said, "Hey, this is what this is"? And also, what if Zai is technically on his side, but he got to play both ends, because we really truly don't know the whole entire background because it seems as though Zai, Mori, and Higan were all friends, and it's almost like they automatically broke the code before they even adhered to the code. Because Higan, like, I broke this code a long time ago when I first saw you, and Zai even came back to look for them. Like, he didn't even do his ninja duties because it says if someone goes missing, your mission comes first, whatever the case may be. And the look of concern on his face when he was looking for them, I was like, okay, so maybe all three of them is in this thing together, and Zai is just a double agent. I'm getting in the weeds. What if Mori's secret technique is? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was like, well, we hopefully that will become a little bit more clear with next week's episode.
Yeah. And what if Mori has a secret technique of resurrection? Well, she's not really dead. What if Mori is the bad guy?
You're getting into a lot of what ifs right now.
Hey, what else, man? Listen, ninjas cannot be trusted. That's what I'm just saying. Like, we know this. We have experience with ninjas. It's like seeing ninjas on anime and all this other stuff. Like, everything is not what it seems. It's like,
that's true.
You know what I mean? So it's like, there's a lot of twists and turns there. But hopefully, well, for one thing I don't want to happen. I don't want Morris or his partner to die tragically or anything like that. Like, those are personality characters. Like, those are the characters that bring life to the anime. And Higan, as badass as he is, he's really monotone. Like, he don't have any other emotion besides rage. So Morris is definitely, and especially his partner, her name escapes me at the moment, but both of them have the personality to push his anime forward.
Isn't her name Emma?
Say it again.
Is her name Emma? Her name is Emma.
I think it's Emma. Yeah.
There's so many. I'm sorry. It's the little space that I have in my brain. It's like I have little file folders in my brain, and whenever I need information, I like go through like. Have you ever seen what is that movie? Dreamcatcher. It was based off Stephen King book.
Dreamcatcher. Yes, long time ago. Ago.
Yeah, so it's like I have a little filing cabinet, a little library in my mind, and I like try to pull out. I be forgetting stuff so much.
Yeah, so it's a lot of characters. Like Emma is her name, and Mars. Like, those two have to stay in the anime because this is on the protagonist side. They're pushing the overarching story, and Emma's looking to sell some shit. Like, she's like, listen, we off this case?
Like, you know how much this could be worth? And he's sitting here watching this. I'm like, ma'am, you are an officer of the court. You can't sell that information. What are you doing?
Listen,
why are you telling your partner that?
Emma don't give a damn. She don't care about none of that. Like, she got a whole computer in her, like, supercomputer in her car. Like, I'm just an agent by necessity, but I just became an agent to get access to the other shit that I don't have access to if I was a civilian.
You can tell, like, she's like a true nerd because, like, she's so excited by the prospect of information and data as well.
Yes. That binary codes, like, that stuff excites her. In her bedroom slippers, in the hospital, after a car accident, she pops right up.
Oh boy, meet her, because I feel like that would be a terrible combination.
Oh man, that you know what? I ain't thought about that. I haven't thought about that.
That would be interesting though. It would be very interesting.
Very interesting dialogue between them two. Mm-hmm. Hopefully we'll see that.
He'll probably just cuss him out.
Yeah.
And he's offended by the language that she used with him. He seems like that type.
But that short ninja gotta go. He gotta go.
He most certainly does.
And knowing how anime is, usually the people that you can't stand the most last to the end.
Like, I'm pretty sure he's just gonna get worse.
Yes.
I mean, compared to when he was first introduced, the second time he was like actually on, like, got real screen time, he was out of pocket the entire time. It's
Yeah.
gonna be Ernst next time. Like it's gonna snowball.
Him and Hisoka do not need to be in the same room together at
Ooh.
all. At all. It's like, nah, they don't need to be there. That's a terrible thought. And on that note, we are gone. Hold on. Tomorrow's episode of Pro Wrestling Talk Live at 7 p.m. Eastern time.
Sorry, I was just in my mind. I was like,
Yeah, mind blowing. Terrible, terrible thing. Do not forget to hit that like and subscribe button and that notification bell, because the more likes and comments that we do have, we continue to push the channel forward and continue to grow the channel so we can continue to put out more content for you guys. So, you got anything else for the listeners out there, Vivo?
did you have any anime recommendations? Because if you didn't, I have some.
I currently do not have anime recommendations. What do you have?
Okay, I'm gonna say my first one is going to be Higan. Wait. Let me actually give you the entire title of it. It's so good. I really like that one. I just signed into my Crunchyroll. Okay. Yes. Okay. Rerun Beyond Journey's End. There are currently 25 episodes.
Uh-huh.
And this has a lot of character development. It's really about going on a journey, but the animation is good. The characters are great. It's really, and the moments of action that there are awesome. And the main character is actually like she is OP.
Okay. Okay.
And the second recommendation that I have is A Sign of Affection.
Yes, I did see that.
And
Not seen it, but I did like run across it.
so right now there's currently 9 episodes. That is more of a romance, but the animation is beautiful and the story is really good. And then I can also throw in the Apothecary Diaries too, because that's a good one too. Okay. And yep, that's all I got.
Oh, and these are your anime recommendations. Now, don't forget to tune in tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and on Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, myself and Boogie Blends, when we do Nerd Talk Live for the week. So until next time, y'all, peace.